Hi there, this is Judi Moreo. Welcome back. Tonight we are talking about some of my very, very favorite books, and this is one of my favorite books. It's called The Winning Attitude, and it's by John C. Maxwell. Now, you probably know John Maxwell from his leadership books, and he is one of the leading writers on leadership in this country. I particularly like this book because he focuses on the winning attitude, and we all know that leaders really do need to have a winning attitude, or they probably wouldn't be leaders in the first place. But the book is incredible because it talks about what an attitude is, how we get one, how we get a better one, how we can screw up our attitude. I mean, it's got so many aspects of attitude adjustment in here. And we all know that attitude is really a habit. It's an outward expression of an inner feeling. But those of us who are in leadership positions very often have to demonstrate an attitude of leadership, an attitude of confidence, and a positive attitude, even sometimes when the world is not so positive, or when our world is not so positive. The book talks about how to deal with change, how to keep our attitude good during periods of change when things aren't going so well. It also talks about how to adjust our attitude when we're sad or when horrible things have happened to us. It talks about many, many things, and I even marked a couple places that I wanted to share with you. There was one thing in here. It said that Voltaire likened life to a game of cards. Each player must accept the card dealt to him, but once those cards are in hand, he alone decides how to play them to win the game. And that's so true of attitude, isn't it? It's that we have to decide what our attitude is going to be on a daily basis if we're going to win in this game of life. I mean, we can get up in the morning and we can say, today's going to be a good day, or we can get up in the morning and say, oh, what a rotten day I'm going to have to face. And sometimes when things go wrong, it's the same way. We can either say, well, things happen for a reason, and because of that, this better thing is going to happen or comes along, or we can say, oh, poor me, everything always happens to me. You might know I would be the one that would deal with the bad stuff. So it's a matter of looking at the world and saying which way we want it to go. And I've learned that by reading these kinds of books, the Winning Attitude books, the books by great writers, by John Maxwell, who is one of the leading leadership writers of our times, that I can keep my attitude really good, and I can keep going forward, and I can keep myself positive. And one of the things that I find as I'm growing older is that so many of my friends talk about the good old days, and they're always looking back. And I found that as long as I'm looking forward rather than looking back, my attitude stays more positive. And that's one of the things I got out of this book, is to always have something to look forward to. Always have another place to go. There was another thing in here I wanted to share with you, and I'll just see if I can find it real quick. It was a... Here it is. It was a little, I don't know if it's a poem or not, but it says, when it looks like I have failed. Lord, are you trying to tell me something? For failure does not mean I'm a failure. It does mean I have not yet succeeded. Failure does not mean I have accomplished nothing. It does mean I have learned something. Failure does not mean I have been a fool. It does mean I have enough faith to experiment. Failure does not mean I've been disgraced. It does mean I dared to try. Failure does not mean I didn't have it. It does mean I have to do something in a different way. Failure does not mean I am inferior. It does mean I am not perfect. Failure does not mean I've wasted my time. It does mean I have an excuse to start over. Failure does not mean I should give up. It does mean I must try harder. Failure does not mean I'll never make it. It does mean I need more patience. Failure does not mean you have abandoned me. It does mean you must have a better idea for my life. And so I highly recommend this book, The Winning Attitude, Your Keys to Personal Success by John Maxwell. And we're going to be right back in a couple minutes to talk about another of my favorite books that I think you might want to read. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Jamie Lee Metz, CEO and founder of Skin Fitness here in Las Vegas. We've been serving Las Vegas for over 17 years. We're proud to announce we just won 2017 Spa of the Year by Image International. That's the skincare company of the Miss Universe pageant. We offer exclusive treatments like our Time Eraser Facial, which uses multiple modalities and literally erases time. Our Pore Purge, which is the ultimate in hygiene. And our Fire and Ice Facial, which literally removes and soothes the skin at the same time. Come see us at our new location here in Village Square. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Welcome back. This is Judi Moreo, and this is the World of Book Reviews. And tonight we're talking about some of my favorite books about overcoming adversity and how to deal with them and what attitude has to do with it. The book that I want to recommend to you now is a book called Beyond Survival, Building on the Hard Times, a POW's Inspiring Story by Gerald Coffey. Now, Gerald Coffey was a captain in the U.S. Navy who was actually a prisoner of war in North Vietnam during the Vietnam War. And this book is just absolutely amazing. It tells his story of how he got captured. It tells of the mind games that the people played with him that were keeping him imprisoned, and of the ways he had to adapt. And he thought at first that when he was there it wouldn't be too long until he got to come home. He thought because of the Geneva Convention and the various rules and regulations and agreements we all have about war with other countries, that he would be able to write letters home, that he would be able to receive letters, which of course that didn't turn out. He thought that he would only be a prisoner of war for a few months, and it actually turned out to be years. And there were times when he was in isolation and couldn't communicate with anybody for long periods of time. And he and the other prisoners of war had to work out ways that they could communicate by using a piece of wire and tapping out the Morse code and messages to each other. And so it's quite an interesting story of survival, but it's also a story that talks about how when we go through adversity, we become a lot stronger. Now, I have had the good fortune to meet Captain Gerald Coffey several times through being a member of the National Speakers Association, and I've heard him tell this story as well as having read the book. And you know, I go back about every year or so and I read this book again. This is a book that's been around, like I said, since the Vietnam War, but it is an incredible book of overcoming adversity. It will help us understand a little bit more our prisoners of war and what they went through and why they had such a hard time adjusting when they came back to America, and that they really didn't get the kind of support and belief and love from people that they should have gotten. It's an incredibly interesting book. I think you will find it very, very interesting, and I advise you to read it. If you like books about how people overcome adversity, which I do, this is one of those books. And Gerald Coffey is a fabulous, fabulous man, and a person that I'm sure has written this from his heart, every single word. And it's a tearjerker, but it's also a very good book about leadership and about becoming all that you can be, and also about putting things in the past that belong in the past and moving forward, because there's nothing really we can do about the past. The only thing we can do is go forward in life, and this man tells us how to do it. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with a guest, and you're going to enjoy this man because he is someone who has really overcome adversity.
Are you frustrated and wasting time searching for high-quality education and entertainment and not finding it? Stop wasting your time. We've got your solution. Our 3 dynamic and unique online TV shows provide you with high-quality and easy-to-find content. Everything from business skills and self-development to book and movie reviews and everything in between. At akexpertstv.com, you'll find high-quality experts in their field. In one place, at no cost to you. Visit www.akexpertstv.com today.